following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Did you guys see the brand new Taste of Nashville show that we aired this morning? Mornings on Main Street with Big Joe Dubin, kind of morphing into a new show, a spinning off, as it were, because we're just creating all sorts of content here just to really give you as much as we can, just like our newspapers at Main Street Media. We're doing with new media, expanding across all platforms, ways to tell the story of Middle Tennessee. And I hope that you got to see it. And if you didn't, well, join in on the fun. Go to Mornings on Main Street from this morning. You can find it on any of our portals, but why don't you start with Main Street Nashville? You can go on YouTube, Facebook, and you'll be seeing clips of it on our other portals on Instagram. Wherever you are and wherever you find us, make sure that you click subscribe because you want to keep up with what we're doing. And if you've got a story for us, make sure you let us know. In just in case you weren't watching this morning, you can go back and view it because that's the beauty of what we get to do here at Main Street Media. We get to keep it up because it's a streaming show, not a TV show. You know, we know that your lives are busy. We know your lives are busy. You've got things to do. But when you have those spare moments, when you go to social media, to Facebook, to YouTube, we want to have something there that you can find out all sorts of really neat stories. Anyway, just a little bit about this morning's show. Take a look. Hey, yesterday we got to go to a really cool place at the Omni.
All right, good morning, everybody. We're live at the Omni.
We are doing the show live from the Omni. It's Mornings on Main Street, Taste of Nashville.
There we go.
We got married in high school, had a baby when we turned 18.
Come on into our store, Buddy Allen, it's a heritage for 40 years or more. What makes a house kind of special? Close friends walking in the door, flowers blooming in the springtime, and little children playing on a Buddy Allen floor. Yeah!
Brother, it don't lie. I know there will come a day somewhere down the line.
Look how pretty you look. I look like an ogre.
No, you do not. You do not.
Thank you for watching this. We'll be back soon with another show and a lot of fun. Be hard to top what we had this morning, though. Thank you all for watching. This was Mornings on Main Street, a taste of Nashville. Have a great
From
day,
the
everybody.
Omni. Bye. Taste of Nashville aired for the very first time this morning. So 7 o'clock this morning. Morning is on Main Street, the Taste of Nashville edition. Go back and give it a look and give it a share because we depend on you to get the word out there. Nashville Sounds opening day is coming April 5th. What will this season look like? Well, the Nashville Sounds, if you join their email list, every week you get all sorts of goodies to tell you what they've got planned, both during games and in between games. Every April. I'm so excited when it's baseball season. And I love local baseball. I like minor league baseball. There's something so real about going to that park. And it's a family. And I had season tickets at Greer Stadium and the new stadium. I mean, it was like the real deal. So anyhow, just make sure you go to NashvilleSounds.com and sign up for the email list. Promise you, you're not going to want to miss any of the promotions coming up. And by the way, brand new album from Deborah Allen. If you missed that interview last week, you missed us talking about her brand new single and her brand new record that is coming out. One of the latest singles is Blue Collar Baby, and nobody sings it better than Deborah Allen.
He's been known to pop a top back 5 o'clock. Round about 7, he's ready to rock, and I hold on tight. We rock all night. We drop another dollar, dance around the floor. Come closing time, we're dancing out the door. Yeah, it's time to get gone. Take it on home with my blue collar baby. He's my blue collar baby. Good loving, hard working man as any man can be. He's my blue collar baby. I'm a blue collar lady, and that's all right with me. It's alright. Every time I get the eye, he really gets annoyed. My Prince Charming, he's a good old boy, and if you open your mouth, he'll put your lights out. He sticks up for his country, the red, white, and blue. Got a tattoo on his arm, says I love you, and it's got my name on it. Yeah, I love him all on it. He's my blue collar baby. He's my blue collar baby. Good loving, hard working man as any man can be. He's my blue collar baby. I'm a blue collar lady,
Boy, you could tell that girl is from Memphis, can't you? She got the rockabilly blues singing groove. I love me some Deborah Allen. Her brand new album is so good. So it literally dropped last Friday. She was on our show, and I'm so glad that she was but she got to tell a few stories, and people are all just like, I can't believe she worked with Prince and all these things. The first artist they ever tried the technology of having someone who was passed, like Jim Reeves, sing a duet with someone from the future, and they merged that together with new technology. She's the first that ever happened. Since then, it's been done a gazillion times. But Deborah Allen, I think she needs to write a book, don't you think? A check-in from Elizabeth. I'm glad you liked the new morning show that you got to see. And Steve Burney, I just don't know what I would do without your mornings where you go, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Sharing a good mood. That's what we like to do here at Main Street today. And we love to share stories about songwriters. That's what I do. I am the unofficial songwriter mom of Nashville. I love me some songwriters, and I love talking about songwriters and telling people how important they are to what we do every day. I was talking with Chris Wallen this weekend, and he said, something? He said, a groove or a melody can change. That's what a melody can change a mood, but a lyric can change a life. Isn't that profound? Chris Wallen, attribute it to him. Great songs. Heard him on Backstage Nashville, but now on 9 stages plus around Nashville. March 29th, 10 Pan South, the biggest songwriting festival of the world is going to be taking place. And we're going to go to talk to Wyatt Easterling right now because he's going to be on one of those stages. Wyatt, what are you doing?
How are you? Gosh, it's been so long since we've had a chance to speak.
I know.
On your show.
I'm so glad you're here. You and I have been friends for a long time, and you have walked in the world as a songwriter, with songwriters, as an artist, really wearing all the hats.
I have, even where I was able to sign artists and songwriters to either to a record label or to a publishing company. My circuitous route started when I was about to sign with CBS Records way back in the 80s. And Sunday Records came along and bought them, so everyone was off the table. All the staff replaced and so forth, which is just the way industry works. So I ended up working with Rick Blackburn at a publishing company while he waited for his 2-year non-compete to come up so he could get back to a label. And when Atlantic Records came along, lo and behold, I thought I had a record deal, and instead he said, "Hey, I want you to run the A&R department." And I thought, that's a great position, but I really want to be an artist. And he said, "No, you don't."
Oh my gosh.
So I took off down that road for a while, and it was it was just such an amazing trip. I got to sign acts like John Michael Montgomery and Neil McCoy and Tracy Lawrence. It was a wonderful time. And back in that period of time, country music was exploding. Garth was brand new, and we were selling records like hotcakes.
It was the time to be here and time to be in music. I got to tell you, it was really the golden era, and what I love about you, Wyatt, is that you never lost your creative side. And like you said, circuitous, coming back and to be able to, because people don't realize when you put on the executive hat, somehow people's memories forget that you were an artist, forget that you're a songwriter. They go, "Oh, but no, you're here to hear my songs."
Right.
But guess what? You get to have it back. You do get to have it all if you never give up the dream, right?
Absolutely. And I was so blessed and fortunate right after Atlantic to step into a publishing career for a bit of time, but I was working right there with the writers, which I loved. And I really learned to write songs when I got to Nashville. I thought I was a pretty good writer when I came in to the town in 1981.
Like we do. We think, "Hey, I'm great in Oklahoma."
My mama said so.
Yes.
But I learned how to write from the songwriters that were here. And of course, I did like everyone else who comes into town. We didn't have NSAI when I got here. But I kind of grabbed their coattails and said, teach me how to write. And those writers that allowed me that opportunity really taught me how to look at the lyric. And because I came in listening to the singer-songwriters that wrote about themselves, like the Jackson Browns and the James Taylors, Carole King,
Right.
and they were great teachers. But when I got to Nashville, I realized that the country song was harder to write. It really was. It was embarrassingly hard for me to learn how to write for, I guess, the common man, as they would say back in that day, and changing hats, so to speak. And it was amazing how once I learned how to do that, never look back. That's what I write.
And when I did the heading for this show, I said from Music City to a castle in France. And it literally, that's as broad as a thing. But I want to tell people how you ended up with Sting and Cher in a castle. And I mean, tell us a little bit about how that transpired.
Well, as I mentioned a moment ago, after I left Atlantic, I ended up partnering with this gentleman by the name of Miles Copeland, whom I'd heard of. I didn't know a lot about because when I was in Nashville, I just had blinders on. I wasn't paying attention to the punk movement and what was really going on in pop. And Kai Fleming, wonderful songwriter, she told Miles that he should reach out to me because Miles wanted to open a publishing company in Nashville. He's a huge songwriter fan, as Sting is as well. And so I had this meeting with Miles. We suddenly become partners, and I've got a publishing company named Bugle Publishing Group. I didn't know Miles, but he was this, reputed to be the hardest manager in all of Los Angeles and rock in general. So I have to admit there was a little bit of an intimidation factor. And so he comes flying into town just 2 days after I opened the office, and he's pacing back and forth, and he looks at me and he says, okay, we've got these songwriters. What are we going to do with them? And I was just trying to think of something. And I said, well, why don't we do a songwriters retreat? And he said, what is that? So I explained it to him, and he's still pacing back and forth. And he says, this is brilliant. I have a chateau in the south of France. We'll do it there.
And you go, well, I was just thinking, maybe Monteagle Mountain or something.
That's exactly what I told him. I said, why don't we do it at Henry Horton State Park?
Yeah.
Because he had IRS Records, which had all of these wonderful artists, the Bangles and the Go-Go's, and he even had REM there for a while. And he said, all right, I told him, I said, if you bring your artist here, we can put our songwriters with them. Well, this evolved into what became known as the Castle. Within 2 months, this was August 1st of 1992. And within 3 months, I was in the south of France with this amazing group of writers and artists and my songwriter. And it became known as the Castle, and it was quite the ticket to get. So eventually we spread it out, and I would invite writers from all over Nashville, Gary Burr, the list goes on. And at that time I had brought Keith Urban to the management company, which was part of Bugle Publishing, and Keith came a number of times. But we had Carole King, we had who else? Peter Frampton, of course, Keith, Olivia Newton-John, one of my favorite people.
Oh my gosh.
It's just amazing because here we were in the south of France, and I think this was probably one of the first events like it. I hadn't heard of one before that, and in that form, and it continued for probably 12 years or so.
And what's incredible is those people you invited forged relationships and friendships. And I know Gary Burr went out and played with Carole King as a result of their meeting, and Ringo Starr, and people that would never have connected musically Nashville to the world. You were the conduit. And so I want people to know that you were a conduit to a lot of the people who got connected because of that. Well, you're connecting some people because one of the people who went to that castle is Paul Jefferson. And isn't he on stage with you at 10 Penn South? What night are you playing?
We're playing Friday night, April 1st. No April Fools here. I wish I'd known that was going to be the night we had, because I would have probably changed the name from Round and Round We Go to April Fools. But I have Paul Jefferson, who used to write for me at Bugle. and wonderful artist and songwriter. And then I have Robbie Hecht, and then Stephanie Langbring, whom I don't know, but we've talked back and forth through email. Very excited to have Stephanie with us. And that'll be Friday night at 9:00 down at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Beautiful. I know our friends at Regions Bank are a big sponsor of this. And we ask people to just go on and get tickets. I think that the pre-save week-long passes are sold out. They usually are within minutes of them coming out, but I'm not sure.
I don't know either, but I do know that if you go to, I actually had it written down somewhere. Oh, here it is. If you go to tinpansouth.com//tickets, and if they have any passes left, you can buy them there. But they also say that if you arrive at a venue and stand in the cash line, if there's room after all the passes go in, you can pay cash at the door.
And know that every venue has a different COVID policy. So, just look, if somebody says, put your mask on, just do it. I think most people have relaxed that, but just whatever. Let's just do what we need to do so we can get back to living, because I want to hear some live music. What about you?
Me too. I'm just so glad to actually get out in front of an audience again. And,
amen.
And it's not me sitting here playing through a camera to you, and you can see and hear me, but I don't see you. So it's very nice to have a live audience.
Well, I tell everybody, make sure that you go and see our songwriters, support our songwriters, but they could support you another way. Don't you have a new record?
I do have one coming out. I started it in 2019, and lo and behold, the pandemic shuts everything down. And I was in the early stages of this because I was approaching it as I always had as a singer-songwriter. But the pandemic gave me this opportunity to sit back, woodshed everything I was doing, look at how I was playing the guitar parts, for example. And I have a studio at home with all the necessary gear, the preamps and microphones that I would use in any studio. So I had almost 2 full years to put this thing together. And what I found was that rather than putting another record out as a singer-songwriter of sorts, just playing my songs, I have more of an artistic bent to it, and I love it. And I was very blessed and fortunate to have a fellow by the name of Thomas Anderson. He used to write for DreamWorks in LA while I was writing for DreamWorks in Nashville. And we didn't know each other then. We knew all the same people, but somehow or another, we ended up together here in the middle of North Carolina. And so we spent a year and a half, 2 years going back and forth, writing and mixing and recording. And he's a brilliant producer himself. And as it turns out, we master tomorrow. So it's a big day, wedding day for the album.
Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Well, how can people get in touch with you and get your music?
Well, at this point, if they go to my website, which is easy enough for me to remember, it's just WyattEasterling.com.
Yeah, there you go.
It will be for sale on that platform. And then, of course, once it's done, I will have a few CDs just because you got to have them. I don't know why. I guess just to use to steady a table in a restaurant, but whatever.
I will tell you why. Wyatt, when people are affected by the songwriters, I always tell everybody you want a souvenir of this with that songwriter's name on it. So have that souvenir, even if you don't have something to play a CD on. Of course, I don't understand why you don't. If you got a record player, which everybody now has new record players, get your CD player, keep it there, but use that souvenir. I always say suitable for framing too.
At least you have, when you buy the CD, you have in your hand all of the information about how the record was made, the lyrics, and I know that'll be on the online version as well. But I'm tactile. I like to have it in my hand.
Amen. Amen. And I don't think anybody likes to leave a live event without something. And we're not going to let people leave without hearing you sing, because I've got a video that I pulled from a month ago of you with a live performance. So I thought I would share that as we say goodbye to you. And a reminder, tinpansouth.com/tickets. Get your tickets for Wyatt's show. He and Paul and the gang are going to be. And what venue?
We'll be at the Hard Rock Cafe down off of Broadway.
Very, very cool. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time, Wyatt. Hope to see you again soon.
I hope to see you as well.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Now watching the news is giving me the blues. What a tangled web they weave. Well, try as they might, I still know wrong from right. And here's what I believe, from where I stand, for what is worth. We ain't got much time on earth. From where I stand, it's so clear. It's a miracle we're here to have a chance to have some fun, do some good, love someone. So come on and take my hand and see what I see from where I stand. When you go it alone, this world is one cold stone. So won't you keep me company? 'Cause when we open our eyes to see the next sunrise, there's no place I'd rather be. From where I stand, for what it's worth, we ain't got much time on earth. From where I stand, it's so clear. It's a miracle we're here to have a chance to have some fun, do some good, to love someone. So come on and take my hand and see what I see from where I stand. The world outside is so divided. Let's leave it all behind. You lock the door and I'll pull the curtains. Together we'll be just fine. When the sun comes up in the morning, we'll have a beautiful view. It's gonna be a new day dawning, and I want to face it with you. Where I stand, for what it's worth, we ain't got much time on earth. From where I stand, it's so clear. It's a miracle we're here to have a chance to have some fun, do some good, love someone. So come on and take my hand and see what I see from where I stand, for what it's worth. We ain't got much time on earth. From where I stand, it's so clear. It's a miracle we're here to have a chance to have some fun, do some good, to love someone. So come on and take my hand and see what I see from where I stand.
From Songs from the Rural Room, that is that. And Wyatt is still here. Hey, Wyatt, I see you there in the green room. See if I can bring you back on. Well,
There I am.
there we are. There we are. We got it. I got a hello to you from Dennis Banka, who's a songwriter
I
and also a radio station owner in Carthage, Tennessee,
Yes.
and he's part of our family. So he wanted to say hello to you. So I didn't want to say if he's watching, we want to make sure I made that connection.
Well, tell Dennis hi. It's good to I was
You know,
it pulled from as far as performance because I was looking for one the other day, and I'm glad you found that one.
oh, you know what? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And we need more of those kind of songs. And we can get one just by getting Wyatt Easterling's new CD, WyattEasterling.com. The album's being birthed as we speak.
It is. Come tomorrow. Delivery day is tomorrow.
I don't know, but hey, I've got one more segment that I'm going to be doing. We're going to go to Green Door Gourmet. Chef Richard out there finds ways to use, have you ever gotten one of those CSA boxes where you go and pick up vegetables and they have like vegetables and you got to go look up what they are?
I have.
I know, I do. I go, okay, once you pass corn, potatoes, and onions, I kind of go, well, what else is there? Okra? Yeah. They have cheesy green bites, and Chef Richard has a great recipe. And so I thought this might make other people eat green stuff like chard. I didn't know what chard was. I had to go look that up. But I got one in a CSA box. So we're going to go and take a look at the chef's work. And I'm going to say bye to you yet again. But thank you for sticking around.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I enjoyed it very much. We'll see you
All
soon.
right.
I'll see you around the different venues with Tin Pan.
That's right. I'll be walking the streets of Nashville looking for songwriters like I always do at Tin Pan South Week. You have a great one. We're going to take a look. Green Door Gourmet.
Hi, and thanks for joining us at Green Door Gourmet. I'm in the Cumberland Cottage Culinary Education Centre, and I have a special guest today, Lindsay Seegers from the Manor Food Centre. So tell me about what you've got ready for us, Lindsay.
So I've got these crispy, cheesy spinach bites, and I added chard in. My family uses them mostly with spinach, and you can make them with frozen spinach, which is often what we do. But I found with my CSA box that I was getting chard and kale, and so I started making the same recipe and just mixing out the greens I had on hand.
Okay.
So I just, chopped up my greens. I did chard and spinach, about half of each. Just did them in a quick saute just to wilt them briefly, which that would be a yummy meal in itself. But in this case, I just took those sauteed greens, mixed them with eggs, you could do breadcrumbs, or just a great way to use it, some stale bread. We just cut it into some cubes, mix it with some feta. You could do Parmesan, you could do cheddar, just formed it into little balls, which is definitely something you can have some fun help with, and threw it in the oven until they're crispy.
And that has a little Mediterranean flavour to it, is that right?
It is. We did the, a little bit of spinach and feta for almost a little spanakopita flavor. And we also added in just a fun little, Italian kind of Greek herb seasoning mix. Mm-hmm. And herbs and seasons and spices are such an affordable way to really amp up your flavor and do some global flavors, some global cuisine like we've done today. That's something you just have in your pantry to be able to spice up your meals and add some variety to foods you've already got on hand.
And so as far as the beans and grains, what do we have?
So all I did was I just combined a little bit of the grains that I made for my week ahead, lentils and brown rice, whatever you've got on hand. And the nice thing about a grain salad is you can serve it either hot or cold. So if you don't want to make a sauce or a dressing for it, you could just take a dressing that you've got in your refrigerator. I was just thinking that with the, cheesy spinach bites, maybe like a garlic dressing would be nice.
Yeah, so sort of that Mediterranean flavour.
You want to drizzle it over top there?
I will like to. And then you have some of the green cheesy bites.
Mm-hmm. So you see how they got really crispy and kind of poofy from the egg, and you could dip them in the dressing, you could eat them alone.
Delish. Well, thanks for joining us here today.
It has been so fun learning about the farm, seeing what you guys do, and cooking together. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure, and we will like to see more of what you're doing at Manor. And so we'll have more links to these recipes and more at the end of this video.
I love Chef Richard and what he does out at Green Door Gourmet. He and Sylvia Gagnier. I don't know if you saw Sylvia Gagnier's post this weekend. There was a sweet potato at Green Door Gourmet that was literally the length of an arm and a hand. She said the one sweet potato from Green Door Gourmet can feed an entire family. And she's right. She's right. GreenDoorGourmet.com, and you can get all sorts of recipes and take a class. They do wonderful classes. And I love what we learned from that recipe is that there are uses for stale bread. I love ways that we can not throw away, and wasting food drives me crazy. I hate wasteful, and using leftovers to create something else with the leftovers. That was in that recipe. And that anytime you have something green that you wouldn't ordinarily eat, add cheese. That's the way we do it. And that's the end of this show. Happy Monday to everybody. Thanks to Marty Luffman, go to Marty Luffman's page today, because it was actually a post from yesterday that inspired me and made me really happy. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You just got to go to Marty Luffman's page. He is my insurance. He's my insurance guru. That's what he is. State Farm, Marty Luffman Agency out in Smyrna, Tennessee. You guys have a great rest of your day. Be safe, everybody. Be kind. Remember. Oh, and Leslie stopping in to say hi. Just remember most of all that you're loved. Because if you go through the day remembering and knowing that you're loved, you treat everybody around you just a little bit better, because love makes everything better, right? Have a great rest of your day.
Nothing like the sunrise with your coffee in the morning, or taking a good book off the shelf. Another thing I love the most than being on my own is together with everybody else. Together, like it's Southern Sunday summers. Together, on my front porch with my friends. Together with who's ever there, standing next to me. Yeah, together is my favorite place to be.